Today we're going to be looking at all the brand new Temple of the King stuff and the whole entire set of Maze of the Masters. So let's get into it, and first let's talk about these two specific cards. So first up we have both of the QCRs being Silent Magician level 8 along with number 107 Tachyon Galaxy's Tachyon Dragon. Both of these are special QCRs, and realistically we've known about this forever. This is 000, and this also shares a set number along with the original art, but this is only QCR only. So take it what you will, and let's get into it. So let's start talking about them. So first off, we have the Man with the Mark. It is a level 4 Earth spellcaster effect, and if this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can take one Temple of the Kings or one spell and trap card that mentions it from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of the Man with the Mark once per turn. While you control Temple of the Kings, if this card and Apophis, or while you control Temple of the Kings, this card and Apophis monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and Temple of Kings you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, in my opinion, this is really good, being able to protect your Temple of the Kings and all your Apophis monsters, and just being able to get to your Temple of the Kings as soon as possible is really good. And also has 1,000 attack and defense. Next up, we have Merciless Scorpion of Serket. It is a level 6 Earth Fairy effect with 2,500 attack and defense, and it cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing one level 10 or higher monster from your hand or deck while you control Temple of the Kings. You can only special summon a Merciless Scorpion of Serket once per turn this way. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can add one Temple of the Kings or one spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. And at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you could destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the destroyed monster's original attack. This is actually a very good boss monster upgrade of Mystical Beast Serket. And realistically, I cannot wait to see what else this support does, because it's probably going to be focused around that. And then we have Anubis the Last Judge. It is a level 10 Earth Fiend effect monster and cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand or graveyard while you have 3 or more cards in your graveyard with different names that are Temple of the Kings and or traps, by placing 2 of them on the bottom of the deck in any order. You could send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add one Man with the Mark from your deck to your hand, and if a spell or trap card you control is destroyed by card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Anubis the Last Judge once per turn, and this card has 3,000 attack, so being able to get to the Man with the Mask is very good, and this is probably going to be one of your main banish targets off of your Merciless Beast Serket, and honestly, that is really great. Kind of sad it's not an illusion, but that's fine. But let's get on to the fusion monsters. We have Divine Serpent Apophis. It's a level 6 Earth Reptile fusion effect. 2 monsters that mention Temple of the Kings. Must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 2 Apophis monsters. Once per turn, you can target up to 3 Apophis trap cards with different names in your graveyard. Set them once per turn. If a trap is activated except during the damage step, you could target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. This card has 2,800 attack and 2,600 defense, and honestly, this is a really good monster. And you can just tribute 2 Apophis monsters on your field, is really great. It can also tribute itself, which honestly, that can do some silly things there. And then we have this Divine Scorpion Beast of Serket. It is a level 6 Fairy fusion effect. Earth, it is 3,000 attack and 2,000 defense, 1 Serket monster, and 1 monster with 2,500 or less attack. If this card is special summoned, or at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish it, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the banished monster's original attack. You can only use this effect to Divine Serpent Beast of Serket once per turn. You can, or it is once. You can only use this effect, can make a second attack during each battle phase while a level 10 or higher monster is banished. So that is really good in my opinion, and being able just to say I can attack twice if this card's banished, I really like that. Next up we have Treasures of the Kings. It's the Temple of the Kings Retrain, and when this card is activated you can set one Apophis trap from your deck. This card's name becomes Temple of the Kings while it's in the field zone. Once per turn, if you have 2 or more set cards on your field or trap cards in your graveyard, you can add 1 monster that mentions Temple of the King from your deck to your hand, and you can only activate 1 Treasures of the King per turn. This retrain actually makes it where Temple of the Kings was supposed to be a field spell, not a continuous spell. So it's nice seeing this finally getting printed, and I am really happy about that. Then after that, we have Defense of the Temple. It is a spell card, and it can fusion summon 1 Earth Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. If you use a monster you control that mentions Temple of the King, you can also use face-up monsters your opponent controls as material. If your opponent controls Temple of the King, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Dangers of the Divine from your deck to your hand, and you can only use this effect of Defense of the Temples once per turn. Honestly, a very powerful card, being able to super poly your opponent's board, but not really a super poly. But I could definitely see players wanting to play super poly in this deck, and it's crazy how we got 3 fusion decks in a row. But looking at it, this is a very good card because you can get the next card that we're going to be taking a look at, being Dangers of the Divine. It's a quick play spell, and pay half your life points and tribute 1 monster, special summon 1 the Winged Dragon Raw from your hand or banishment, ignoring its summoning condition, and make its attack and defense 4,000, but it cannot attack. Also, during the end phase of the next turn, return it to the hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, choose 1 the Winged Dragon Raw in your monster zone and send all other monsters on the field to the graveyard, and you can only use each effect of Dangers of the Divine once per turn. This card can be very scary in a instant because you get to summon out a Winged Dragon Raw and then later board wipe your opponent. So you have to be very careful of this, because once that Raw hits the board, you have to try and get rid of it as fast as possible or try and stop this from happening. But overall, putting a way to get into something like the Winged Dragon Raw onto the board is very good. And then we're going to be looking at Verdict of Anubis. It is a counter trap, and when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while you control 3 or more spell or trap cards, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then if you control Temple of the Kings, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the original attack of those destroyed monsters, and you can only activate 1 Verdict of Anubis per turn. So this is a very powerful counter trap because it deals damage to your opponent, and it represents the moment where Joey is going to attack, or no, this is not Joey, because no, this has to be Joey when he goes into attack for his stuff or activating one of his spells or traps. But I love all the manga moments that are shown. And let's finally get into Apophis the Serpent. It is a continuous trap card, and you can special summon this card as a normal monster, Reptile Earth, level 4, 1600 attack, 1800 defense, and this card is still a trap card. Then you can set 1 Apophis trap from your deck, except Apophis the Serpent. It can be activated this turn. That matters a lot. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 embodiment of Apophis from your deck to your hand, and you can only use each effect of Apophis the Serpent once per turn. Now, this is a really good card because it gets to your other Apophises, like Apophis the Swamp Deity, to embodiment of Apophis, so you can fulfill those. You need 3 trap cards. But let's get into the full set list and let's talk about it. So we have a multitude of cards in here, and I kind of just want to take a look at the secret rares first because there's quite a bit of them. We have the Man with the Mask, along with Treasures of the Kings, as we saw, Galaxy Eyes, Tachyon Dragon, and Swartz, or I don't want to butcher that, Infinity Dragon as another secret, 7th Tachyon as another secret. So Tachyon, you have 3 secret rares right there, while the new Temple of the King stuff has 2, and the last secret rare is Singularity Beam. So there's that. And then let's get to the ultra rares real quick. And we have a total of 13. We have Merciless Scorpion of Surfcat, Anubis the Last Judge, Verdict of Anubis, and Apophis the Serpent. All 4 of those are for your Anubis deck. And let's get into the others. You have Divine Golden Shadow Dragon, Dragulexon being an ultra rare. And then let's get into the new XYZ cards, being the X Cross Cannon, XYZ Hyper Dragon Cannon, Unit Controller, and Union Activation as ultra rares. Trickstar Aqua Angel as an Ultra. Then we get into the Animation Chronicle cards with only Duke of the Mines being an Ultra, along with Ancient Gear Statue. And as you guys saw at the very beginning, or actually we have one last one, Molcharmi Purulia is in here as an Ultra Rare and a Collector Rare. So now we have where is going to be Molcharmi's Meows. In my opinion, it's going to be in Battle of Legends as a secret, or it could be that, or it could be another set, but we'll have to see on that. I do think that they're going to double print Purulia in this, and then we're going to see it in Stampede, but we'll have to see on that. And there's a lot of great reprints in here, as honestly, there's like Apophis, Swamp Deity for your deck. You have Trickstar Reincarnation. You have almost the full, actually no, you do have the full Sword Soul core with Emergence here. You have all your Synchros as well. Crystron, Quarian, Gandrax is another good ultra, or another good rare reprint. You also have the rest of the Sword Soul. You have Moye, Taya, and Long Wang all here. Then you also have things like Thunder Dragon, Hawk, and Roar. Makes sense with Dark getting in Rarity Collection. You have Atlantean Marksman and Heavy Infantry as well. And we also have some past format stuff like Gladiator Beast, Sam Knight, and Rotari. You had Heracleanos, which was down this way, with Esaderi as well, and Tamer Editor. And as we go up, you see Herald of the Orange Light, the Allure Queens, 3 through 7. Great reprints because this is their first reprint. And then we have Herald of Purple and Green Light as well. So overall, this set has a lot of good reprints, and in my opinion, I cannot wait for it to come out. And it was noted that you get at least 1 to 2 secrets per box, along with 3 to 4 ultras per box. So 2 secrets, 4 ultras per box, relatively about there. And there's 7 total secret rares with 13 ultra rares, or 6 secrets and 13 ultras. But realistically, all these cards should be easier to pull because I saw loads of 7 Tachyons in this whole entire opening, and along with that, 7 Tachyon comes in collector rares, so there's more chance of pulling it. But I want to know what you guys think about the full set of Maze and the Masters and the new cards for Temple of the Kings and the 2 QCRs that we have here. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next video.